I thought I had found safety from the infected at a community holding out in cabins. What I found instead was people low on supplies, hardly their defenses, and a massive horde heading their way. This is my story. I glanced back and heard movement coming through the trees. They'd seen me. A pack of infected. I need to be faster. I need to run longer. Don't look back, I thought. Just run. The sound drove me on. Footsteps, wet breathing, all growing louder, getting closer. I ran like a madman, weaving through groves of trees, doubling back, cutting wide, anything to break their line of sight. I'd lose them for a second, but they'd see me again, and I was forced to start running all over. A stitch was forming in my side. I had no food for 3 days, no water for 1. I wasn't going to be able to keep up this pace for long. I'd run into brush, squeezing between tight trees. Anything to trip them up, slow them down. I kept thinking about the cabins I had seen on the far side of the lake. Maybe someone there could help me. My eyes kept jumping between the tree line and the water, terrified of losing sight of the cabins. I burst out of the forest and hit a gravel road hard, falling on hands and knees. Pain shot through my palms and joints as I scrambled back up. My knees screamed, but pain didn't matter anymore. The infected were closer now. That was real panic. I thought about diving back into the woods, or maybe diving into the lake. Could they swim? I decided to stay on the road instead, hoping it would take me to safety. My mouth was dry. My throat burned. I stumbled again, caught myself, hurled back into my mad dash. The sound was right behind me. I broke from the trees, and the road opened into a small settlement of cabins. A blur of barricades, obstacles, people moving. Infected, I yelled in warning. And then I saw the gun, pointed straight at me. I tried to ditch, and it went down hard. I screamed. The pain was too much. Gunshots tore through the air. I couldn't get up. I was suffering too much exhaustion. A zombie, missing half its head, collapsed inches from my face. And then everything went black. Darkness comes and goes in waves. I'm floating, half awake, half somewhere else. The cabin room stretches and contracts like a lung drawing breath. A shape stands over me. I try to move, try to sit up, but I'm so dizzy. The shape leans closer. It snaps into focus. It's a woman's face. Susan? Easy, Steve, she says. You're safe. A sharp sting in my arm. Fire spreading under my skin. I pass out again. I surface slowly. Light hurts. My mouth tastes like cotton. There's a gun pointed at me. The man holding it is big, built like someone who's done hard labor his whole life. He doesn't look scared, but he does look cautious. Behind him is Nick. Hey, Steve, he says, half waving. You had a fever, Susan says. Bad one. we're treating it now. A question comes from the big man. Where did I come from? How long had I been out there? Was I alone? I try to answer, but my tongue won't cooperate. The room tilts, and I pass out again. I woke up again to shouting outside. Not close. Farther off, but loud enough to carry. There's gunfire, angry yelling, and running. Boots pounding up the cabin steps outside. The door flies open. A man storms in, wild-eyed, angry, bleeding from a scrape on his arm. He brought them here, he yells. One of them wasn't dead. I almost got bit. Nick came in close behind him, trying to calm him down. Take it easy there, big guy. The man shoves Nick aside and raises his gun toward me. But before anyone else moves, the big man is already there. Grabs the gun, twists, and slams the man into the wall like it's nothing. The gun hit the floor. Not in here, he growls. The man is shown out, but he's still shouting. The next few days blur together. Sleep, waking, pain, water, food. The fever breaks slowly. Outside, the dead don't stop coming. It's just small groups. No close calls. Distant gunfire. Inside the cabin, the questions stop. People watch me instead. When I'm finally steady enough to stand, Nick is there. He looks older, tired. We talk quietly. I tell him I never meant to drag danger this way. I was desperate. I was going to die. He just nods. Outside, another shot rings out. No place is truly safe anymore. The cabins run on routine. That's how they've stayed alive. Everyone works, no one slacks. People repair doors, haul lumber, check fishing lines in the lake. Someone tends a fire, boiling water in blackened pots. Nothing is wasted, but nothing is easy. This place survives because it has to. They asked me if I left anything behind. Supplies, weapons, tools. They found nothing on me but a Ziploc bag of dried matches. I tell them the story about what happened to me. The lost gun, the lost pot, the lost bags and coat. Days back, somewhere in the woods, nobody suggests going after them. It's not worth the risk. Nick explains the rules. The one in charge is Hank. He was the guy in the cabin while I was recovering. What he says goes. 3 shifts watch the forest for the infected, other survivors, raiders even. No one has been raided yet, but no one pretends it won't happen. I'm given a choice. I can take 3rd shift watch, or I can leave. I take the 3rd shift. They ask me what I can do. Anything useful? I tell them the truth. I work for the city. Computers, documents, meetings. But I do know how to use a gun. So I'm assigned labor. Hauling, digging, carrying, holding things in place while others build. It's honest work. but it hurts in places I forgot I had. A string of lights above the cabins goes on. Others hurry toward the east, following the lights. A zombie has been spotted and is dispatched, followed by 2 more easily taken care of. Everyone stops their work and moves to their post to watch out for more. Nick and I watch at the east post. He tells me the lights above the cabins go to each post, 1 for each side. If there is trouble, the post watch turns them on. You follow the lights to find where the trouble is. After maybe half an hour, people relax some. We go back to our work while posts continue their watch. I run into the man who pulled the gun on me earlier. He looks at me but says nothing. We work near each other, not together. It's an uneasy truce, held together by exhaustion and Hank's quiet presence. It's night now. Nick checks his watch. It's almost 11 p.m. I go to my signed post and meet Eric, who offers me a cup of hot coffee. I know guns, I tell him, but he doesn't give me one. He gives me a pointy stick instead. Trust, Eric says to me, has got to be earned. The forest awaits. On the second night watch, it started out quiet. The cabins sit dark, just silhouettes against the trees. A few fire barrels burn low, the light carefully placed, enough to see the paths between cabins, hidden well enough for light not to carry past the perimeter. Every post has a hand crank light. Nick's handiwork. Reliable, but not very quiet. We sit in the dark behind hastily built barriers, scrap wood, furniture, whatever could slow something down or give us protection. They don't have supplies for better fortifications. What they have is got to do. The forest shifts, not sound at first, movement. A woman breaks from the trees, stumbling into view. A man behind her, a child is in between. They look exhausted, terrified. Eric cranks the light once and snaps it on. Stop, he yells. Don't come any closer. But they don't stop. They can't. The forest erupts with infected behind them. Zombies pour out, fast and close. Eric turns on the light above that goes to the cabins. I hesitate and look toward Eric, who isn't moving. Coward, a voice in my head calls. It's a family, and they need your... I didn't let myself finish that thought. I ran into the fray. The family goes down hard. The man is fighting back, throws one off himself, trying to shield the child and his wife. The woman screams, hands grab, teeth snap. I try fighting with the stick. Worthless stick. Behind me, Eric raises his gun, but hesitates. I'm in the way. Noise builds behind us. Boots, shouts, more people coming. Get them off me, the man screams. His scream hits something primal in me. I grab an infected and throw them aside, trying to keep them off him. Grab another, but it turns on me instantly, grabbing me hard. I can't get it to let go. His mouth opens. A single gunshot cracks the zombie's head wide open. More gunfire follows. The clearing fills with smoke and echoes. When it's over, the infected are down. But so is the man. He's lying, breathing hard. His wife and child beside him. A small pool of blood is coming from his side. The family is brought inside the perimeter, separated and guarded closely by a small group, guns at the ready. Hank and Susan tend to the man's wound inside a cabin, but she looks worried. The others spread out to their post. Everyone's going to watch for a while. "What were you doing?" Eric says as he turns out his lights. The forest swallows the noise again, and the night goes back to watching. No one knows for sure. The man was shot, yes, but they don't know the bullet passed through a zombie first. Who can say if that would matter? Is that a way to get infected? They aren't able to find any injuries beyond the shot that would suggest that maybe he had been bitten or scratched, or could in any way change into infected. Hank asks the questions. Where they came from? Are there others? What they left behind? The man's voice is weak, fading. Cars abandoned on the highway. 5 miles, maybe more. Gas, supplies. Hank nods. He's already starting to think ahead. Despite all Susan's effort, the man bleeds too much, and he dies there quietly. Susan gets up and tells Hank that she's going to go and get his wife. Hank nods and then stays there watching the man. It was only for a moment. Hank lost his focus. He let himself get distracted. Just long enough. When Hank looked back, the man's white eyes were open, wide, looking straight at him. He was on Hank before he could do anything. Hands, teeth, weight. Hank didn't even have time to scream. The struggle was short, violent, then everything was still. Susan and the man's wife return to the cabin. Susan goes in first, but is immediately grabbed by the infected man. She has no chance. The other woman steps back out of the cabin and screams. Chaos erupts, shouting, running. The infected man stumbles out of the cabin, but Nick is there. He fires once. The head almost disappears. And then he sees moving inside. "Nick," someone shouts behind him. Hank comes out fast. Too fast. Someone behind Nick pushes him aside and fires. Hank's head explodes. His body drops. But Nick isn't looking at Hank. He's staring at Susan. On the ground. Not moving. Nick breaks for the cabin. He drops down beside her as others shout for him to not go inside. Eric is first, grabbing Nick's arm. "Get him outside." They fight with him, prying his fingers from her body, pulling him back. Three of us hold Nick, while Eric stands near the cabin door waiting. We try to calm him. Susan's body twitches. She rises, slow at first, unsteady. Nick keeps repeating her name, yelling, fighting harder than ever to break away and go to Susan. As Susan lunges forward, Eric fires. Susan falls dead, and Nick won't stop screaming. The yells and gunshots echo. Too far, too loud, too many. In the distance, the forest answers. Moans roll through the trees. Hundreds. A massive horde begins to move. Toward the cabins. Toward the noise.